Tackle is made, but enough for a first down for Moss. Needed 2, got 3, first down Washington.
I'll tell you what, Chris Samuels, I mean, it's Pro Bowler against Pro Bowler, and he is doing a very good job right now against DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus there trying to use a little bit of a bull rush and then mixes in some speed rush as well. But Chris Samuels, a guy who's been in the league 8 years, has seen it all. It's a good job on his part, and then enough, just enough, to pick up the first down there on the reception.
Somebody lost a helmet as Clinton Portis picks up 1, and that'll do it for the first quarter here in Landover. Redskins needing it. Redskins off to a good start. The football, the lead, 7-0. The NFL on Fox will continue after this.
There are 380,000 NCAA student athletes. And most of us will go pro.
Most of us will go pro in something other than sports.
In something other than sports. Go to ncaastudent.org to find out how.
Second quarter, 7-0 Washington. Troy said it at the beginning of our telecast that Joe Gibbs told us this is the most important game since I've come back. On the heels of a season which has seen an inordinate amount of injuries, tough losses, and then the death of Sean Taylor, he has rallied this club. Clinton Portis, Fabini out in front of him. Ken Hamlin on the tackle, a gain of 10+ and another first down for the Redskins.
Yeah, you said Randy Thomas went down earlier in the season, and they replaced him with Jason Fabini, who came over from the Dallas Cowboys this season, number 69, and you know he leads the way for Clinton Portis. And this is one of the few times where you'll ever see Clinton Portis actually stay behind his blockers time after time. When you watch him, he's so impatient as a runner. He wants to get going, and he doesn't want to wait on any of the linemen that are out in front of him. Oftentimes, he'll be the guy leading the charge.
Collins, Moss, what a reach and a catch. Fantastic catch by Santana Moss, 36 yards.
Great catch by Santana Moss. He gets a step on Jock Reeves, a ball that's laid out.
Oh, that should come back.
Yeah, it looks like it might have hit the ground there, and then Wade Phillips is definitely going to challenge it. He got the red flag out.
That definitely looked like it hit the ground. A great effort by Moss, but couldn't secure it as it just came through.
Dallas is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a completed pass.
That'll be a good challenge there by the Dallas Cowboys. A great job there still by Santana Moss trying to pull that one in. Just was not able to get his other hand up there to secure it all the way to the ground.
Challenge will get the call when we come back.
Okay, what's a 3-letter word for...
Honey?
What do I control? I don't control the bumps and the bruises, the crowd, or who covers me. I don't control the bounces, the shootout order, or for that matter, what happens outside the rink. There are a lot of things in life I don't control. But then again, there are some things that I do.
In the soggiest Super Bowl ever, the Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears faced off on a wet and wild Sunday in Miami, Florida. The Bears got on the fast track first when rookie Devin Hester returned the opening kickoff 92 yards for a touchdown. The Colts kept pace after quarterback Peyton Manning spotted a wide-open Reggie Wayne for a 47-yard score. The Bears responded and took a 14-6 lead on a short touchdown pass to Muhsin Muhammad. But from that point on, it was all Indianapolis. Colts running backs combined for almost 200 yards rushing, and the defense forced 5 turnovers. In the fourth quarter, when Kelvin Hayden returned an interception 56 yards for a touchdown, it was over. The Colts became Super Bowl champions by a score of 29-17.
We'll get the call from Scott Green.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did not maintain possession of the ball. The ball hit the ground. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the 41-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 14:26.
Jack Reeves was on the coverage, but Ken Hamlin knew immediately to throw the challenge flag.
Yeah, it looked like Santana Moss, when he was over there talking with Todd Collins on the sidelines during the review, that he actually thought that he had both arms underneath that. But a great effort on his part, and you know, he's been such a big part of why they've had the success here over the last few weeks. I mean, he's created some big plays. It's amazing how much better he's been able to play now that he's healthy. He's battled injury throughout most of the season.
2nd and 10. This one is batted away, trying to set up a screen for Portis. 3rd and 10, and it was Todd Collins who's been looking for Santana Moss a lot over the past couple of weeks. He said when he doesn't get the ball, you can just see he's like he's ready to burst. So every time he drops back, he's looking for number 89, and he almost hit him for 36 moments ago.
Yeah, and he's done a good job of getting the ball in his hands, and he's done a good job of getting the ball into Clinton Portis' hands. And I think that's one of the biggest difference offensively between this offense quarterbacked by Todd Collins as opposed to Jason Campbell is they have been able to create bigger plays and get the ball down the field. That's one of the reasons why they've scored more points.
4-man rush, good pocket for Collins, who finds Moss. There he is. 1st down, Washington. 21 yards.
Well, I think they've targeted the guy they're going to go after. It's Jock Reeves, 35. And you're going to see Santana Moss here on a square in, and he just turns him loose. They were in 2-man coverage. And Jock Reeves does not continue to stay with Santana Moss, and that's what created the big void there in the middle of the field.
That takes it to the Dallas 38. A game break is coming your way. Back to the air on this wet day. Clinton Portis makes a move. And another. Down to the 20 with another 1st down for the Redskins. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
The Vikings and Broncos, Jake Cutler finds Brandon Marshall for the score, and Denver goes on top of Minnesota 7-3. And I'm sure you know, Joe, that if Minnesota loses, the Redskins make it into the playoffs regardless of what happens in their game against Dallas.
Yeah, but that takes some of the drama out of what we're watching here today with the Cowboys and the Redskins. With the 6-9 Broncos now leading Minnesota. Liddell Betts very close to the 15. They'll mark him at the 16.
You know, I know when we talked with Joe Gibbs as to whether or not he would be scoreboard watching, and he said absolutely not. You don't get any help in this league, but you know, he got help in the earlier game with New Orleans losing, and you know, I'm sure somebody's keeping an eye on that Minnesota game. You know, it probably will go down to the wire, but if for some reason Denver was able to build a pretty good lead, I mean, you've got to believe that the Redskins then would start trying to rest a few players of their own if possible.
They play next week. The Cowboys are off. Betts nowhere to go. In fact, went backward a half yard. Marcus Spears on the tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, and they'll bring up third down.
You know, the other thing I thought that was interesting in visiting with Joe Gibbs, Joe, was when he talked about Todd Collins, and I said, are you surprised that he's played as well as what he's been able to play? I mean, it's an amazing story. And he said, well, yeah, I mean, I'd watch him in preseason. He's played great in preseason, but I just thought it was because he was going against such inferior talent that maybe he couldn't do it if, in fact, he was the starter. But he has played just like he had been playing when he got his chances in August.
Third down and 7. Collins in trouble, throws it away. Cowboys want to know in what direction and who was close to it as far as a receiver. Did it get to the line of scrimmage? The answer is no, and they throw a flag.
Yeah, and I think that was the good call, too, by the official, because obviously Todd Collins...
Intentional grounding, offense, also loss of down, 4th down.
You know, he's just trying to avoid the sack. I don't think the ball even got to the line of scrimmage, and more importantly, I don't think he was outside the tackle box. I mean, you take a look at him, and, you know, he's still within the pocket there, and then the ball does not cross the line of scrimmage. So no matter how you look at it, a good call by the officials with intentional grounding.
So it brings up 4th down, and it will send Sean Sweezum onto the field to attempt a 46-yard field goal.
I'll tell you, this
obviously,
guy,
there's nothing a given on a day like this.
No, there's not. And I was going to say that, you know, this guy is having himself a heck of a season. His first year as being the full-time place kicker has kicked extremely well.
Grew up in Canada, used to the cold. High snap. The kick is good. 46 yards from Sweezum, whose strong season continues. Good job by Derek Frost to take the high snap, get it down, get it up. Sweezum did the rest. 10-zip, Redskins.
Kick off your new year this January on NASN. We get to the business end of the NFL with the playoffs as the road to Super Bowl 42 in Arizona really opens up. It's the highlight of the college football season as the top contenders fight it out in the BCS. And we head to Atlanta for the 2008 NHL All-Star Game and bring you live coverage of the Young Stars Game and every event in the NHL Super Skills Competition. It's an exciting new year here on NASN.
There was a moment there where I thought, that was a pretty doggone good throw. I can probably play.
My sophomore year against Thomasville, I only got 3 balls. And those 3 went for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. I knew right then that I was on my way.
And the stadium was rocking, it was packed. Got a total of 400-some yards. That's when I knew.
When people stopped calling me Archie's boy, started calling me Peyton. That was a big moment for me.
NASN's live coverage of every BCS Bowl continues this Thursday with the Orange Bowl. Virginia Tech brings its 2-quarterback system to Miami to face one of the biggest surprises of the season in the number 8 ranked Kansas Jayhawks. The Orange Bowl live, Virginia Tech versus Kansas, this Thursday only on NASN.
Well, it has not been a good start for this Dallas offense. Romo has thrown an interception. They haven't been able to move the ball, and I'll say again, this has been anything but an impressive offense over the last 3 games. Detroit, Philadelphia last week, they got the win but didn't throw the ball well, ran it well at Carolina. They trailed 10-0 here today as Sweezum drives it through the back of the end zone. How wet and nasty is it here today? Romo having trouble just catching the football. Now we'll try and go throw it. Down by 10.
College basketball continues on NASN with a live doubleheader. First up, the high-flying Kansas Jayhawks take on the Eagles in Boston. Then it's Big Ten Conference action as the Purdue Boilermakers host the Michigan Wolverines. A live college basketball doubleheader this Saturday only on NASN.
The greetings are different. The need to feel welcome is the same. You don't just stay here. You belong.
Hockey's not just a game, it's a lifestyle.
Join the Reebok revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Hey owners, you know you can get all your American sports fix daily right here on NASN, your channel for North American sports. Join me and this merry band of journalists as we chew up,
David
spit out all the sports news today.
Why do you stop freaking matches at noon?
Exclusively on NASN. Hort!
Cheerio, folks.
Next Sunday on Fox, an NFC wildcard game. Either Washington or Minnesota at Seattle, or the New York Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Check local listings. We may know which game we're covering, and consequently what day maybe the Redskins or Vikings will play next weekend by the end of this game. Down by 10. Here's Dallas starting at their 20. And that skips in there to Fasano, and a penalty flag comes in. Reed Doughty was on Fasano's back, and it's against Doughty.
Interference, defense, number 37, first down.
You know, we see the rain coming down pretty good, and Tony Romo, who typically does not wear a glove in good conditions, he's wearing one today, and he works on it when he's back in Dallas whenever they do have inclement weather there, and says he likes throwing with it. In fact, he likes throwing the ball in the wet rain because the receivers have the advantages knowing where they're going.
Julius Jones gets it just across the 30, a 6-yard run.
You know, it's the one thing that you see more and more quarterbacks go to, you know, in these types of conditions, throwing with a glove. And, you know, they've made such progress on how these things are made to where they're not as bulky as what they once were back when I was playing.
Second and 4. Romo sideline, pass dropped. That's Sam Hurd out there, and it brings up 3rd and 4 for Dallas.
So Sean Springs in coverage there. I know going back to that first game against the Dallas Cowboys, Sean Springs pretty much went with Terrell Owens throughout that game, and Terrell Owens had a great game then. 8 receptions, over 170 yards in the air, and Sean Springs today, I mean, obviously he's not going against anybody the caliber of Terrell Owens, but he has played well. He's had a good season, and he's playing well here over the last several weeks.
3rd down and 4. Romo airs it out. There was interference on Terry Glenn, who gets flipped by LaRon Landry. Smoot was out there in coverage, and the two got tangled up.
Yeah, they're going to get Smoot on this one. You're going to see Terry Glenn. He's going to start to the outside, and he's trying to run it out and up, but Smoot grabbed him beyond the 5 yards when the ball was in the air.
Illegal contact, defense, number 27, 5-yard penalty, also automatic first down.
So that's 2 defensive penalties on this possession by Dallas, and the last thing that the Cowboys want to see is what happened at the end of this play for a guy like Terry Glenn, who can be a big weapon for them. He's undergone 2 procedures on his injured right knee, and he ends up getting literally flipped and landing on his upper back, and he doesn't look too good on the sideline. Julius Jones dropped in the backfield, a loss of 1.
You know, you talk about Terry Glenn and getting his first action here today. It's been amazing, really, that this offense has been as explosive as what it's been, you know, this season without Terry Glenn in the lineup. I mean, you think back to last year, really, he was probably their best wide receiver. I know in talking with defensive coaches, when they'd get ready to go up against the Cowboys, they always said, hey, Terry Glenn's the guy we're worried about. He's the guy creating all the big plays. You know, you think about the year that Terrell Owens has had. If you had Terry Glenn alongside of that, how much better would they be?
2nd and 11. Pressure on Romo, who sidesteps Fletcher, throws for Hurd. And the pass out of bounds, caught out of bounds, incomplete.
Well, here's the tail end of it. See if he's able to make the catch. They say he was out of bounds. He makes the catch there. Left knee's in.
Left knee's in, left elbow was in. And we'll get another challenge from Dallas. That's Joe Gibbs, who was right there, the Washington Redskins head coach. And the challenge flag has been thrown by Wade Phillips.
Dallas is challenging the ruling on the field that it was an incomplete pass.
We'll take a break. We'll get the call when we come back. And when you look at the left knee, the left elbow of Sam Hurd, this could go the Cowboys' way. A 31-yard pass by Romo to Hurd.
Get ready for another thrilling season, packed with hard-hitting NFL action.
Just because you're thousands of miles from the nearest big league stadium doesn't mean you can't be a big league fan. Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Here's a call from Scott Green.
After reviewing the play, the receiver had possession of the ball with 1 knee inbounds. That's a completed catch. Dallas is not charged with a timeout.
1 knee, 1 elbow equals 2 feet, and it's a completion on the challenge, and it's good for Dallas.
Well, you see Lennon Fletcher had a chance at Romo, but he does what he's been doing all season long. I mean, a free blitzer, and yet he's able to make him miss and still get this throw off. Now, he was open because of the bite here by Fred Smoot. You see there a double move to the outside by Hurd. And a great job by Tony Romo just keeping that play alive.
How about the catch by Hurd at the Washington 29. Play action from Romo over the middle. Hurd again. First down inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. LaRon Landry on the tackle for the Redskins.
Yeah, you know, you go play action, all of a sudden you get those linebackers biting up, and then you got that area of the field. They're in man coverage to where all of a sudden you've got a lot of space. You beat the guy covering you, and then you're creating separation. And again, I mean, a good job by Hurd making the play.
Marion Barber, a Pro Bowler, just pushes the pile. Inches inside the 10-yard line. Now Barber checks into this game 19 yards shy on the ground of his first 1,000-yard rushing season. And for a guy who is not the quote-unquote starter, he has the bigger impact at running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and he is headed to Honolulu.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's just had a great season, and even though, yeah, he's not the starter for all practical purposes, he is. And one of the main reasons he's not is because he's so accommodating and unselfish that he's fine with the fact that Julius Jones starts each week.
Romo looking right all the way, throws, caught by Fasano. Not much. In fact, no gain on the play. And with 7:49 left in the half and Dallas down by 10, it is going to be 3rd down and 7 with the ball at the 10.
You know, and 3rd downs is really where this Redskins defense has excelled. They've been good all season long, but you know, really over the last 5 weeks, I mean, they've just been so stingy on this down. And again, that's really one of the primary reasons why they've been able to keep a lot of people out of the end zone here over the last 4 to 5 ball games.
Romo with plenty of time. Throws incomplete. Looking for Witten. Broken up by Doughty. It's 4th down.
You know, they're trying to get the ball here to Jason Witten. I mean, Jason Witten is a few catches shy, as I said, of getting to 100 receptions. He runs that outside move, then take it to the post. Couldn't get open, but he follows Romo then, you know, to that side where Romo was scrambling out and just unable to make a play. Good job defensively by the Redskins down here in the red zone.
The rookie Pro Bowl kicker, Nick Folk, drives it low and wide. And a fight breaks out. After the miss.
Well, I'm not sure who exactly it was, Joe, but someone there with the Cowboys, it looked like it might have been Leonard Davis, just grabbed one of the Redskins. Leonard Davis is right in here. Just slung him to the ground, as you see right there, Demetric Evans.
So they break up that little skirmish. A miss and a 28-yard try by Folk wasn't even close. Still 10-0 Washington.
Of fencing and 3 years of law school teach you a lot. For him, it's confidence. For me, it's pride. Go to ncaa.student.org to find out how your child could become one of the many student athletes who go pro in something other than sports.
These guys look fantastic. I'm so proud.
Join the Reebok Hockey Revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Well, as you look at a replay, good snap. Good hold, and Nick Folk just hit it fat. He thought for a moment like it might have been tipped, but I don't think anybody got a hand on it. It just was hit poorly. A wet football squirted out to the right, and it's still 10-0. 28-yard try is missed. Hand off to Portis. Sidesteps one tackler and picks up 4. And so the Washington Redskins, Troy Aikman, as we welcome you inside our booth, the Washington Redskins are doing what they set out to do here. They have the early lead, and so far they have held this Dallas Cowboys offense off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job, and we knew coming in that they were going to have the energy and the emotion behind them. I mean, certainly they know what's at stake, and Dallas, you never know how a team like this is going to react when they come in and they have nothing to play for. And yet there are some starters out here, obviously, that are still in the game, and how much longer they'll be in there, probably not much longer. But I think you got to be pleased right now if you're the Washington Redskins or you're Joe Gibbs as to how this group has come out and the job that they've done.
And there is nobody who doubts the leadership abilities of a guy like Joe Gibbs, no matter what criticism he has gone through this year with all of the issues with the timeouts and play calling, not getting plays in time, and all of the questions about his second tour of duty here with the Redskins. There is nobody better in the face of a crisis as a leader than Joe Gibbs. He's done it with his own health history, more health history in his family with his wife and his grandson who's going through leukemia. He has done it in years past with the Redskins. He's never had to go through the brutal murder of one of his players, but getting this team back together and playing with heavy hearts after the loss of Sean Taylor, he deserves a lot of credit for not letting this team quit. That one's knocked out of the hands of Collins and recovered by Spears. DeMarcus Ware knocked it out. Tank Johnson got his hands on it, not Spears on the recovery, and Dallas will take over at the Washington 18-yard line. DeMarcus Ware once again is everywhere.
Well, DeMarcus Ware just goes right through Chris Samuels and is able to come in on the backside there of Todd Collins. And that was one of those plays to where it was a 7-step drop. They're trying to get a big play down the field, and because of the pressure on the outside by DeMarcus Ware, you see him there go right through Chris Samuels. Just not enough time in order to pull that one off.
So now the challenge flag has just been thrown out by Joe Gibbs. And the question obviously is, was it an empty hand going forward? If so, it's a fumble. The ball was still in the hand going forward. It's an incomplete pass.
Washington is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a fumble.
So we take a closer look from behind.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I thought the ball came out before the hand was going forward. I mean, that's the empty hand that you referred to, Joe. If the arm is going forward and there's no ball in the hand, then it's an empty hand, and therefore it's a fumble. So I think Cowboys here are going to maintain possession, but like I say, when you try to, yeah, you want to create some big plays down the field. They've been able to do that, here over the last several ball games. But when you've got a pass rusher like DeMarcus Ware, you got to be a little careful. And they've not given Chris Samuels much help there on the outside. Whenever they have dropped back and passed, and we saw Chris Samuels do a pretty good job, but that time DeMarcus Ware got the better of him.
Well, this one could very well stay with the Dallas Cowboys. It looked to both of us like it was an empty hand and should be a fumble recovered by Tank Johnson. That's the bad news for Washington. The good news is in Denver, the Broncos have just gone ahead of the Vikings 14-3.
The ruling on the field stands. The quarterback lost possession of the ball prior to his arm coming forward. Washington is charged with a timeout.
So Dallas does keep the football, and they take over at the 18-yard line of the Redskins. But as I was saying, it's 14-3 now. Denver leading at home over Minnesota. And if the Vikings lose, it doesn't matter what the Redskins do here against Dallas. They're in the playoffs. Marion Barber gets it. Picks up 1. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Joe, sorry to take the drama away from you, but Denver and Minnesota. That's Jay Cutler finding the tight end Tony Scheffler, and Denver is in firm control of this one. The way they're playing, 14-3 right now over Minnesota. Hey, I'm just doing my job, Joe.
And we appreciate that.
Joe, you're still in Kurt's thunder. I mean, you're making these announcements before we go on these game breaks. You like that, don't you?
Kind of. 2nd down and 9 for Dallas. Marion Barber. And Barber goes backward. Prelo, the first one to get his hands on him. Prelo was inactive last week with a bad hamstring. A loss of 2, 3rd and 11 coming up. I'm going to say it again. The Dallas Cowboys have nothing to play for here today, but offensively, I think they're trying to avoid their 4th very poor day moving the football, and they're not doing anything here against the Redskins.
Well, they're not doing much. You know, Tony Romo, however, he's got 6 completions, and I think that once he gets his 7th, I would be surprised if he comes back for another series after that happens. But you know, you don't want to come into a game and then not play well and then feel worse about yourself once the game ends.
This pass is broken up by London Fletcher. Intended for Jason Witten, and after taking over at the 18-yard line, the drive stalls with an overall loss of 1.
You know, we talk about Santana Moss and Chris Cooley and Clinton Portis on the offensive side of the ball and what they mean to that unit. On the defensive side, you could say that London Fletcher is that guy, and he has been throughout the entire season. From day one, he's been the leader. He's given this team a real sense of direction, and he's got them playing awfully good football.
37-yard try is drilled by Nick Folk, and it's a 7-point game. So we look ahead and talk about the BCS Bowl Bash. This week, the All-State Bowl Bash comes to Fox, beginning with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, followed by the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, and then, of course, concluding with the All-State BCS National Championship game between LSU and Ohio State. The All-State Bowl Bash begins New Year's Day early